You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Thanks for joining us for the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. The IRS is reportedly ending a decades-long political ban. The New York Times reports the agency will allow churches to endorse political candidates to their congregations without losing their tax-exempt status. The change to the rule was made in a lawsuit filed by 2 Texas churches and multiple Christian broadcasters who argue that the ban infringed on their First Amendment rights. Joining us to talk about it, pastor and journalist Dr. Ruth Olison and Reverend Alexander Johnson, executive pastor of Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. Glad to have you both here. Pastor Olison, your thoughts on this. How do you feel about this ruling and the direction it's sending the church?
It's bothersome to me, actually, even though it wasn't often enforced. I think it's a slippery slope. I do not want my pastor telling me who to vote for. And yet, we do realize that over the course of time, people do come to visit the church, and they do come in, but various political candidates can do that. But I think it's very dangerous. When I came here today, I drove a certain speed limit, and then I had to be in a certain lane. And I think it is dangerous because that is not the purpose of the church, to be involved in some political party and to be making political endorsements. So from that standpoint, it has me a little bit concerned.
Reverend Johnson, do you see it as a slippery slope?
In a sense, it's bittersweet for me. To be sure, Dr. Olson mentioned that it's hardly ever been enforced. There's been one occurrence in the 70 years since the 1954 Johnson Amendment, and that was in the 1992 Clinton election, where it was enforced. It's bittersweet because I'm born out of the black church, and since its inception in chattel slavery, the black church has always had something to say about the social and political climate about our community. So we have an obligation, we feel, to speak to the issues that affect our people. Politics is about people, and we as the church can't help but be concerned with our people. On the other side, we live in a time wherein there is this hyper white Christian nationalism that has been doing this. You know, the ruling is kind of cheeky. It's been happening. You know, literally, there were churches who intentionally violated the law, sent the videos to the IRS for years, called it Public Freedom Sundays, trying to get the case to go to the Supreme Court. The IRS never took up the cases. So it's been happening. The problem with it happening now is listening to voices that claim to be Christian and support candidates who have no Christian ethics. You know, the Bible speaks to those who are hungry, and those who were welcomed in were those who fed them. There were those who were thirsty. Those who were welcomed in were those who gave them something to drink. Now we live in a climate where it seems as though, you know, I saw a meme. I was hungry, and you took away SNAP. I was thirsty. You took away the opportunity for clean water. I was sick. You took away Medicaid. That's the climate we live in now, and we have this religious right that is already engaged, to be sure, in you know, proclamations from the pulpit with respect to politics and endorsements, and they are now given carte blanche as a consequence of this ruling. This was something that Donald Trump attempted to do by executive order in 2017, which was ineffective because he can't change the law. Surprise, surprise. But now it is seemingly going to be the law of the land. The case that we're speaking to is actually in regard to the churches that you spoke of, but it sets the precedent for all churches. So it has its benefit, but the question becomes, you know, who's going to use this opportunity in responsible ways?
Right, and that's my next question. Could it be abused where individuals may make churches, you know, their stomping grounds for political office, and then there are some people who may be associated with the church who will say, well, grease my palm a little bit and you can come speak this Sunday?
Danger. As a matter of fact, there are, and we all know this, that in the black church, there's a circuit where during the political season, people are coming through and they're making speeches and they're doing this, and you don't see them anymore until the next political season. But then there is a danger that the church, I won't call it a church because it actually becomes something else.
Right.
This organization then becomes an arm of a political party. And that is not the purpose of the church. Let me state, the purpose of the church is to worship God and to advance the kingdom of God and to do good and to welcome the stranger and to help the least of these. That is what the church does. And it's not to be an arm of a political party.
All right, out of time. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.